Hello. I missed I've been trying to be consistent with my Facebook lives and go live at 1:30 and was in a bathroom full of broken glass and blood. It looked like a murder scene, but everybody's okay. Turned out just to be a couple of scratches, so we're all good. So I had a lot of things in my mind, as usual. But one thing that I really wanted to talk about tonight, I made some posts on my personal page about a topic that's really, I don't know why it feels personal to me, but it does. And it's about acknowledging parts of ourselves that we don't like or that we wouldn't choose. And today, or last night and today, I was talking about racism and how I noticed some thoughts coming into my mind that I wouldn't necessarily choose. Pardon the squeaking. got a cute puppy. But I noticed thoughts that I didn't like and that I wouldn't choose and that I felt ashamed or embarrassed to have. And so I put out a challenge to for people to pause and consider their thoughts and consider their biases. And I wanted to follow up with what to do with that when you notice your biases, when you notice, sorry, all the squeaking. He's having so much fun. When you notice these thoughts pop into your head. So for example, I noticed judgments that come into my head a long time. They're not necessarily, doesn't have to always do with race, but we make snap judgments on the daily. And what I would love for humanity to do is to start being more aware of those thoughts and just to be conscious of those judgments. Right? And then when we notice a thought comes into our mind that oh, that person must be uneducated, or that homeless guy brought it on himself, or even judgments about ourselves. I'm an idiot. Whatever they are, these thoughts that we have that automatically pop into our head that we typically own without realizing it. Instead, we can observe, I just had this thought. And then instead of owning it or feeling shame about it or believing it or whatever, what we can do is set it aside and say, I had that thought. Do I want to keep it? And then we can choose a different thought, right? So I've done this. I spent a lot of time and effort doing this in my life. There's a story I'll share that kind of challenged my view of humanity a long time ago. I was working on my photo degree and was in Salt Lake doing just some street shooting with a friend, and we were outside of the old Crossroads Mall, and a kid asked us for we'd give him money or whatever, and we said no, we'd buy him some food. Bought him some food, and we were chatting with him, and he went by the name Sleepy. And my friend that I was with asked him why people called him, this is a homeless kid, hopefully I mentioned that. My friend asked him why they called him Sleepy, and he said because when he was young, when he was a toddler, his parents smoked a lot of weed and with a lot of marijuana, would leave it around the house, and he would eat it and just end up passing out in a corner somewhere, and so his parents started calling him Sleepy. And that, for some reason, that story has stuck with me my whole life and made me realize that we never really know the full story of somebody's existence. And so when I notice those judgments that come into my head, I just question, is that the story I want to tell myself about this person, about myself, about this situation, or would I rather tell myself a different story? So I can't prevent the thoughts from coming into my mind. I have biases, I have whatever that are just inherent, that are there, that no wishing them away is going to get rid of them, right? But when I have those thoughts, I can decide what to do with it, and I can replace it. And as I replace it over and over and over again, those thoughts that I don't want start to disappear and start to be replaced automatically with the types of thoughts that I choose. Neural pathways, I talk about that a lot. So pay attention to your thoughts. Notice the stories that you tell yourself. Notice the judgments that you have. And then if you aren't happy with them, pick different ones. So anyway, okay, happy weekend, happy Mother's Day. Hope you're doing great and that you don't have kids with glass cuts all over their bodies. Don't call CPS. Okay, bye.